Hey there guys, this is Robin Hood, and today I'm going to be bringing you another replay in Total War Rome 2. Now, quick note, look at the background. It's different, it's all purple. Hannibal at the Gates has released, and similar to Caesar in Gaul, they changed the main screen here from what was the green Gallic emblem there for Caesar in Gaul. But the main reason I'm showing that is, since this DLC is out, 3 new factions have been released. The Lusitani, Syracuse, and the Arvaki, I guess? Arvesi? I believe that's how it's pronounced, close enough for me. I'm terrible at these, some of the names in this game. But basically, this battle here is going to feature all 3 of these guys, which is why I'm going to go ahead and show it before the other battles I have for you all. I'm going to be playing as the Lusitani. Arcane, my ally, is going to be playing as the Arvasi here, and Syracuse is going to be played by King of Phoenicia, and Scipio Africanus is playing Rome. So this map also, you can't really tell the difference because of how maps are selected for multiplayer when you host a game in Rome, but this is actually on the Hannibal at the Gates campaign map. So just a fun little side note there. Anyways, though, here we are on the campaign, or not the campaign map, I'm getting myself confused, on the battle map. And you can see immediately my troops are going to start moving forward here. This battle is going to happen very quickly, and there's going to be stuff moving all over the field, so I'm going to try to cover it. Now, I'm going to put it in slow motion for a second here so I can at least cover my army. I am playing as the Lusitani, as I stated. I've got 5 Balearic Slingers up front, 2 of these Scutarii Spearmen, 4 of these veteran shield warriors. These guys are a good unit. They don't have a ton of armor though, and you know, you can see they've got good stats. Weak armor though, and they don't have formation attack, so they're like most barbarian units there. Lusitani nobles here, kind of like an Oathsworn, excellent unit, very elite. For my cavalry, I've got 3 of these Scutarii cavalry. These guys are middle of the line melee cavalry. And then these are honestly my favorite units on the field. These 2 Iberian cavalry. These guys only cost 500 to bring to the battlefield. They've got ridiculous stats for something that cheap, aside from their armor. So you can see these guys, they've got low morale and low armor. They do die very quickly in the wrong situations. But as a quick strike cavalry, they're so fast and so powerful. These guys, I believe Syracuse has them and Carthage now, so these guys could be a game changer in some battles, just depending on how they are used. Very potent against skirmishing units and for quick rear charges. Now, basically here, Arcane has another army. I'm trying to get all these new units. He's got Scutarii, Iberian swordsmen, Scutarii spearmen, Balearic slingers, noble cavalry, and these Celtiberian cavalry. Celtiberian, yep. And quickly gonna pause just so I can get over to Syracuse. Syracuse here has 3 pikemen, some light peltists, 3 of them, and a lot of hoplites, 2 hoplites, this picked hoplite in the back. These guys are very elite. They are a hoplite unit though, so they're really not that potent on the battlefield. They will hold for a while, but I would mostly compare these guys to like a Royal Spartan kind of unit. Very elite hoplite unit. Mercenary Samnite warriors, these guys could be, you could see them quite a bit on the battlefield with this faction or Carthage now. Definitely a different unit there. And then for their cavalry, citizen cavalry, 2 of them, they've got 2 of these mercenary companion cavalry, and these guys are very much like Aspis companion cavalry from Macedon. You can see ridiculous statistics there for melee attack, weapon damage, bonus versus infantry, but they will get taken down by heavy shock cavalry. Of course though, neither Arcane or I have that. That is the downside to at least the Lusitani. They've got a ton of good middle-of-the-line units. Very few cheap units, and only 1 real elite unit, these Lusitani nobles. No elite cavalry. got some fast cav though. And then Rome here brought a Praetorian Guard and just a ton of armored legionaries. Now this is actually dangerous for us because these guys have formation attack. They've got ridiculous, melee attack statistics and everything. These guys are deadly up close, and they're really difficult to take down from all that armor. Now, would I necessarily have brought a corps of armored legionaries? No, because they do cost a lot, and you can get still very solid sword units for cheaper, which would have allowed him to bring more skirmishing rather than just these 2 auxiliary Syrian archers and 3 auxiliary cav. He could have beefed up the rest of his army, but this guy's melee corps is really strong. So I'm going to do my best to cover this battle here, but there's going to be stuff happening everywhere. This is one of the most micro-intensive battles I've played in, and it was really because this faction here, the Lusitani, against Rome, I feel like it's going to be tough in most cases. Rome can field better cavalry, better infantry, and equal skirmishing. And they've got cheap spear units, so they can spend less money to bring more other stuff. So these Scutarii spearmen, I believe, cost like 600 or so. I'm not certain on that, but they're not cheap. They're not like a 200 gold spear unit there. So what's going to happen? We were both moving up. I was in a position where I was about to be caught on my flank by Syracuse and by Rome in the front. So I've fallen back here. Now over here, Syracuse was pressuring my right flank with all of his cavalry. Now his cavalry is better than mine, but this is the one chance I really have to take out these units. If these mercenary companion cavalry get into my main infantry line, that's really bad, especially since I have to fight all those armored legionaries as well, and Syracuse there. And of course, Arcane here has sword units too, but our swords won't stand up to that in a head-on fight unless we have some cavalry support. So over here, I get a rear charge on these companion cavalry. They lose no one, even though I did frenzied charge. Yeah, I'm just showing, they're a very sturdy unit, and they're going to start killing my guys. Now, here comes some noble cav. These guys are still technically melee cavalry, but they do decently well against other cavalry units, and they're going to help wrap up this fight. Plus, I sent another Scutarii cavalry into the back. Over here, Scutarii cav fighting a citizen cavalry. And then this ruckus is all of Arcane's cavalry. He swept them across the field here. Put it in slow motion one more second because you can see everywhere people are moving. But he sent his guys over here to help with this. They're going to kind of get caught by Roman cavalry and these mercenary companion cav and a citizen cav, as well as hoplites. Now that's bad, but that's just going to try to hold long enough for us to win over here. Meanwhile, there was a slight gap right here. I'm going to slip my Iberian cavalry through, and check this out. These guys have some speed. Now, they're going to run quickly into the back here, and they're getting some kills pretty darn quickly on these light peltists. But I'm going to keep them running. Run on to the next light peltist, because one, I don't want them to get bogged down from missiles to fire, because you can see that was like very minimal archer fire, and I did lose guys. These guys have no armor, these cavalry here. So I somehow managed to get these guys completely through the enemy army. They're going to get kind of caught up on a skirmisher cavalry here, and then we're just going to keep heading back over this way, and did damage to a little bit at least of all the enemy units. Now here my slingers are firing at some pikes, and we're going to start shredding these guys. I'm going to fall back once more with my force to try to catch these thorax swords out of position. And over here, while I can, I'm going to do a quick charge here. We've defeated this cav. Arcane's cavalry pulled out. We're going to kill this citizen cav, and then we're going to try to get our cav out of there before we lose that, because it is a fight we still could lose, especially with those hoplites nearby. Now you can see my Balearic slingers retreating to the back. Over here what I did is I sent in a veteran shield warrior with frenzy, and you can see they did well, but here comes back that Iberian cavalry right into the back of this thorax sword, and you can see their numbers just plummeted. These Iberian cavalry, look at how fast they get out of there. I absolutely love this unit. I think they're going to be awesome. So now my men are going to do well in that fight. My slingers are still firing on the pikemen over here. Back here, I've just ordered my cavalry away. We're going to try to pull out of that fight over there. And I am bringing my Iberian cav back over. Now, Rome's taking a hard line towards me, so Arcane's starting to run over to try to help us. And right here, you can see I'm going for these light peltists. Stuff's starting to get in the way. I see my men are going to get capped, or trapped, that is. So I'm going to slip through this gap here and do a hammer and anvil on these mercenary Samnite warriors. And once again, these guys are just gonna, that morale penalty, it's just gonna crush these guys, and my cav will continue to run through to safety to continue doing these quick strike charges. Over here, I was about to charge pikes. I pull out of that. You can see I pulled back again because I have to maximize my troops' position when I'm about to fight this and stay away from these pikes. This bought me time from the pikes. I got a Scutarii spearmen into this cavalry with a anti-cavalry tactics on them, and my slingers are again going to start shredding some pikemen here. And there comes the sling fire now, and you can see those guys just melting away. Poor horse got caught too. Now over here, this is going to be a key part. Arcane's starting to come over. His slingers here are actually going to start doing major damage to this Praetorian Guard, which is good. That's a dangerous unit. Here, we've caught these picked hoplites. I used a frenzy charge with my infantry, but now these armored legionaries are coming in. So I've got my Lusitani nobles over here fighting, and with two veteran shield warriors just trying to hold these guys, and I'm trying to figure out how I can maximize my infantry fighting these guys, because these armored legionaries are better. I'm using my spear units to try to get surrounding and morale penalties. Back over here, I did a quick strike on these auxiliary cav. Hoplites started coming in, so I'm going to back out there. And once again, you can see Iberian cavalry just ran through the enemy army there and did some damage. And there goes another pikeman to slinger fire there. And as always, when I decide to record, the phone is going to ring, so sorry about that, guys. But over here, you can see these armored legionaries are actually starting to take major morale penalties from this surrounding, and I'm using my general as best as I can, but you can see my army's kind of melting away here. All this slinger fire from the Balearic Slingers of Arcane is coming into the back of these armored legionaries. Now, it's good that it's coming into the back, but these guys, for the most part, they're going to be able to take it. They'll take some losses, but it won't be, you know, in all honesty, it's a waste of ammo. Now, we had nothing else to fire at right now, so it's the best use of ammo. But honestly, firing at a unit like this with slingers usually is not that effective. These guys are going to hold. And thank God here, my general's Lusitani Noble unit is going to hold while the Scutarii of Arcane come into the back. So we're just trying to get morale penalties here. Our cavalry's running amok in the back here. You can see there's some Scutarii as well. Enemy skirmishing is now dead. And from a second where it looked like I was about to lose, Arcane coming in on the flank has turned that battle and managed to actually start routing some of these Roman units. So we'll look at some of this action in here as these armored legionaries try to fight their way out of a bind. And we'll see how these guys do against my Lusitani nobles. And they're going to go ahead and rout. So now at this point things are starting to wind down. There's just a few units left on the field. These hoplites over here in square formation, and these armored legionaries, for some reason, I don't understand this. These guys have like invincible morale right now. There's only 9 of them left, and this is all that's left on the field, so all my skirmishers are going to fire at them. And here comes the volleys. I'm going to start taking them down. And then this one soldier, the lone Roman, is going to like absorb a full volley and survive until then. So that's the end of that battle. I know I was talking fast there. There was a lot of maneuvering going on. It was hard to catch it all. There was a lot more I could have showed you on Arcane's side. I was just trying to cover what I was doing. But here you can see, although I lost a large portion of my force, managed to kill 1,500 100 enemies there. And I was pretty happy with that considering the types of infantry we were facing. The enemy cav held out for a while. You can see my cav didn't do all that well against them, except for this Scutarii cav here. That unit did incredible. And these Iberian cavalry didn't get high amounts of kills, but their morale penalties, the amount of units they routed, they were in combat minimal amounts of time, and they routed about 5 units with hammer and anvil charges. So, you know, that quick strike unit, that's going to be deadly. You can see all of my slingers, I kept them alive the whole battle. These guys all put up incredible numbers there. And of course, my veteran shield warriors actually doing a very good job. Over 100 kills on all but one of them there. Arcane, solid numbers on his sword units. His cavalry, for the most part, got killed too. We each had one unit that survived in the cav fight. So it was a risk, but it pinned down our opponent's armies long enough for us to maneuver. And then, of course, you can look over here. Those pikes did nothing because of my slingers. Of course, Rome, you know, his infantry, all of these guys here did very well. They did a good amount of kills. Not worth their cost, and that's because of morale penalties there. Had these guys been able to attack in more formation and not be surrounded, that could have been a major problem. So that's why we focused so quickly. That's why I was maneuvering so much around Syracuse. I was trying to isolate units so that when we fought Rome, both of us were fighting Rome. And it managed to work there. So great game to our opponents. If you guys haven't gotten this DLC, I have yet to play the campaign, and I'll probably show that on YouTube for you all. But I can't give a review on that. These new factions, I can say they're interesting. Now, Carthage got a roster update, and they've got a ton of new units. Rome didn't really get anything at all, and I believe everyone got the Carthaginian units. I'm not certain on that, though. But so far, these two factions, Lusitani, the Arversi, so that's 3. I'm dumb. And Syracuse, they're going to be fun to play as. So I'll get back to you guys on how the campaign is soon. But it's Hannibal. It should be awesome. So I will see you all next time, and thank you for watching.